Welcome back to Frequency Medicine, the podcast for intuitive women, energy healers, and soul led seekers who are ready to come home to their bodies, regulate their nervous systems, and fully activate their sacred gifts. I'm your host, Fiona Waddell, transformational energy healer, medical intuitive, and guide for the woman who's ready to reclaim her body as a portal for healing, clarity, and wild remembrance. Each week, we explore the intersection of science, spirit, and the sacred so you can rise in your power, embody your frequency, and expand into your purpose. Take a breath, get comfy, and let's drop in. Hello, beautiful souls. Today's episode is one I've wanted to do for quite a while. We're diving into truth most people avoid, but one that lives in the body long after the mind tries to move on. The topic, what trauma really does to our frequency. This episode is a little raw, real, and personal because I'm not speaking to you as a teacher. I'm speaking to you as someone who has lived through trauma. And my body, my nervous system, and my energy field has carried it all. We're going to unravel the invisible imprint trauma leaves behind, not just in our mind, but in our biofield, cells, chakra systems, meridians, and the very way we vibrate in the world. This one may bring some tears, and that's okay. You're safe. Let's jump in. So, have you ever wondered why, no matter how much inner work you do, you may still feel stuck or go through episodes of feeling stuck, heavy, reactive, or like you're too sensitive? Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy drop? Or felt your body tighten when someone spoke, even if their words were kind? That's not in your head. That's not weakness. That's your frequency field reacting to past experiences stored deep in your energy system. It's trauma encoded. And before we go further, let me just say this clearly from one of my favorite quotes. Trauma is not what happens to you. It's what's happened inside you in response. Let me say it again. Trauma is not what happens to you. It's what happens inside you in response. From Dr. Gabor Mate. So, jumping into science, biology, energy, and truth. When you experience trauma, whether it's a one-time event or chronic stress over time, several things can happen. The nervous system freezes or floods. Your sympathetic or your dorsal vagal activation just can go kaputs on you, and I've lived this. Cortisol and adrenaline flood the body, imprinting hypervigilance into your tissues. Your brainwave patterns shift, often getting stuck in high beta or low theta states. The biofield contracts, chakras shrink, your aura becomes jagged or torn, and I've witnessed this in myself and with clients. Your electromagnetic frequency lowers, which affects your immune function, mood, even manifestation. But it goes even deeper than that. Emotions and traumatic events can actually change the vibrational behavior of the atoms in our cells. Yeah. Every emotion carries a measurable frequency. When you're stuck in chronic fear, shame, grief, or rage, and that's even the stuff we bottle up, our body's still living it, your cells start to entrain to those low vibration signals. They're reproducing and replicating in that new frequency now. This impacts not just how you feel, but how your cell membranes respond, how proteins fold, and even how your genes express themselves. According to the field of epigenetics, trauma doesn't just affect your psychology, it can alter how our DNA behaves. your body begins coding for survival instead of thriving. And because your system wasn't trained to protect you, it can take time, devotion, several energetic resets to fully shift the vibration back to wholeness. So when people ask, why haven't I healed yet? Or why am I going through this again? It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because your whole system is recalibrating on a quantum level, down to the atoms that make you. So you're actually doing it right. But it's going to keep going until this replication, this programming, has completed out of this cycle. You've shifted all of the atoms. And that takes time. But it's possible. And it's worth it. So let me tell you something I haven't shared publicly before. There was a time when my body literally gave up. I experienced trauma from the ages of 12 to 17. And after I was freed from the situation, it was back in the mid 90s, and we didn't have the same education training as we do now. And so I effectively bottled that up and just chin up and kept going. And so it started to sprout out probably 2003. I started to go through episodes of being very unwell. So my back started locking, my gallbladder, my liver flared, my nervous system was so overloaded, I couldn't even hold eye contact or be in a room with fluorescent lights. And the kicker was, I was living overseas in Japan for part of this, and I was able to get some relief, but nobody knew what was wrong with me other than, hey, maybe try losing weight. That'll help. Just eat less. And I did. I joined a gym. I lost a lot of weight, but I didn't get any healthier. And in fact, I became even more sick. And when I returned to Canada, I was in and out of doctor's offices. Um, it took, oh goodness, until 2014, 2015. So it took some time, and I kept going to doctors, but all the tests were normal. Just lose weight. Until one day, a healer, a dear friend of mine, looked at me and said, your field is frozen. Your body isn't in the present. And I broke. I broke. Because I knew she was right. And what followed was not a quick fix. It was a slow unwinding over a couple of years. I even still have occasional flare ups, and I know exactly where it's from and what to do now. But it was a slow unwinding. It was letting myself grieve for that lost youth, letting myself shake, and just let it out of my body, letting myself recalibrate without shame. And the more I healed, the more I saw the same patterns in the women I'm now helping. Migraines, IBS, anxiety, sensitivity, autoimmune responses. These aren't random. They're not just stress. It was frequency distortion caused by unresolved trauma. Here's the good news. Your body knows how to heal, but healing trauma isn't about reliving it. It's about repatterning the energy. There are a variety of approaches. Some are reliving, but I focus on the repatterning. I sometimes work along with doctors and professionals that some of my clients are seeing, and we go hand in hand. So here are the practices I use to teach to help shift. The first is nervous system regulation. I talk about mind, body, spirit in Unlock Academy. I talk about it as an approach to even doing your intuitive clairs, getting to know your clairvoyance and clairaudience. But even before we step into the realm of being intuitive or connecting with our intuition, we go back to the basics and resetting our energy and taking care of our personal vibration. So the nervous system regulation could be daily reset practices like grounding, tapping, vagus nerve work. You can find some amazing videos on YouTube um, to take you through that. And I also can take you through that as well too. But if you're listening to this podcast and you want to dip your toes in, go right ahead. Um, there's the energy field repair. So chakra clearing, aura sealing, cord cutting. I do spend a lot of time on this in the Unlock Academy. We just actually recently finished a class talking about how important it is to keep energy interference out and to clear our energy field. So the grounding practices, even earthing, walking on the earth or using grounding mats, sound healing, and cord cutting as well too, removing yourself from situations that no longer serve you and letting your mind go on repeat. A third is frequency entrainment, using sound, crystals, and intention to raise cellular vibration. I also teach a crystal and chakra class, and people aren't aware that crystals are have their own frequency. And by having their own frequency, just having them in your own field, they will rebalance you. They will rebalance you. So, crystal work, sound frequency healing. I was just using this over the weekend, explaining to another reader how each organ of the body has its own frequency. So, if you want to heal the heart or heal the liver, just Google it, look it up. I think the liver is 317 hertz, and you can listen to that frequency and set the intention of light and healing, and you're retraining all those cells to replicate at that light level. It works wonders. Fourth is somatic awareness. So, learning to track sensations and let the body complete trauma cycles. For some people, it works top down. Some it works from the bottom up. You have to follow their kinetic chain because we are an energy system. Each person's different. So I recommend to some clients if they're comfortable with touch, getting regular massages, just to keep their body in flow, exercising, stretching. And I'm not talking wild fitness programs. I'm talking like gentle stretching, like Tai Chi, Qigong, or just basic stretching and movement, and let your body be guided intuitive movement, and you'll be able to shift that out. One of the most popular areas for women are the hips. So just swinging your hips. I did this in a sacral chakra class and I had them all laughing, but they got up and they did it. We were all online and just moving our hips. And at first like I didn't, but they felt a little like, this is kind of silly. But then when they got into it, they felt the rhythm of their body, and maybe their shoulders had to move, maybe their knees had to move, or they wanted to move their midsection a little bit more. Their neck was a little stiff, and it's moving with the body. And so it's absolutely beautiful. The fifth is quantum language rewiring, shifting the internal dialogue that keeps the trauma on loop. I can't, like, words are so important, extremely important. How we speak about ourselves, how we speak about the world, how we speak to others, how we speak about our dreams. Um, and so shifting the dialogue, finding out what's in there. When we're dealing with trauma, we have to be gentle with our wording because we don't, the shift in wording can't be, I'm no longer going to be controlled. It's, I am free, I'm safe, I'm secure, and starting off with the basics and then jumping right into the actual events or situations. But starting off with the language, I am safe, like go right to the root chakra language. I am safe, I'm secure, I'm protected, I am in control. And just with that, if you're feeling like things are coming up and you're just like, what do I do? Where do I start? Breathe and start with, I'm safe, I'm secure, I'm protected, I am in control. So when you do this work consistently, not perfectly, heck, not perfectly, heck, because I was self-taught on a lot of things, and I did my own research and I bopped around. Yeah, I did some things in reverse and sideways and several side quests, but the key is being devoted to yourself. You begin to feel lighter, freer, and more whole. You're no longer broadcasting pain. You're vibrating in your truth again. And as we're working on this, just remember there will be good days, there'll be not so good days, and there might be some crummy days. But the more tools we learn when those not so good and those crummy days come up, we use our tools. And that's my approach is I try to pass on so many tools to my students and to my clients. Heck, even at the shows when I do the fairs and the readings, if I can give you tips, tricks, whatever I can that you can go away and start, I'll do it. I'll do it. Because you've got to start somewhere, and I want to offer that hand. So take a deep breath with me now. Just hold it in your heart and just take a deep exhale. Deep exhale. Exhale it out. There we go. Your trauma is not your identity. We may feel labeled with that. I once had a healer, and I thought a friend say to me once when I was going through a difficult time, say to me, just heal yourself. You know how to do stuff. You're a Reiki master teacher. And I'm like, either you haven't addressed your trauma or you don't have any. Stuff comes up. But it's not our identity. It's not who we are. It's happened to our body, and we're just releasing. It's shaped the frequency we've been living, but not anymore. So today you may have heard some truths that might rattle your soul and make you think twice about things, but let them. Let the frequency shake a little. That's how the healing starts. So if this episode resonated, I want you to know you don't have to walk this path alone. I do have an academy. It's called Unlock Academy. Inside Unlock, we do this kind of work. Right now, we're doing psychic development, but we shift topics every 4 to 6 weeks. There's a weekly live class on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. I have a library of trainings on different topics. I have at least 15 full courses available in Unlock Academy: how to do tarot, how to work with angels, oracle, how to activate your clair senses. I even have an introduction to somatic healing. I have a meditation library with I think there's at least 10 to 13 different meditations to help you. You also have me to give you a hand because I'm always there for my Unlock peeps. And it's just $33 a month Canadian. So come out, join us. We're a lot of fun. Reclaim your power. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. If you're interested, go check it out. The link will be in the notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, follow. Hit the big thumbs up, share it with the friends. I'm growing and I want to make a shift and a change and help as many as I can. So thank you for being here. Many blessings. You are the medicine.